wait a couple of minutes. I want to go ahead and start if that's okay. All right. Now I brought 4 poems today. One I wrote recently is called Innocent Hands. Another one is called The Window, Miss Donna, or Of Grief and Light. So you can kind of choose which one you like, and I'll read them again. The last one was Of Grief and Light, Miss Donna, and Innocent Hands.
Innocent Hands.
You got it. Okay, this is the one I wrote a couple of days ago. As soft as a pair of hands, how is the sky so blue? How are petals real? They come into existence, saints on a pure mission to be, to love. Innocence exists, despite all attempts to kill it, reborn in a mother's moment. Animals with soft doe eyes blink and you've given signal. They are aware beyond us. Some of us take advantage. Some of us want to fight to save it. Magic, purity, nature, us. We are the ectoplasm. We are everything, and it is us. The ether is real, innocent of us. This pure source is the beginning of us, of everything good. Soft as hands are to the newborn, we are the protectors of innocence. Thank you. I'm super excited today. We've got a great list, and I'm going to go grab the list. I'm soft-spoken, so that'd be a good idea. All right, first off, we have Robert Stone.
Well, you get to hear another birthday poem. I think some of you know I write poems for people's birthdays. Maybe say 1,000 a year. Most of them are short poems, but some of them are sonnets. Enjoy unfolding right where you are at, believing that the dance you feel within will energize your getting out to chat with caring friends who stick through thick and thin. Enjoy the many pretty views about, both landscapes firm and seascapes never still, as daily walks help clear your head of doubt and limit comfort foods that cravings fill. Enjoy the challenges that change your life. Too easy said, but good advice is hard. What seems a drastic, never-ending strife in retrospect may be 1 inch in yard. From time to time, do something from the past, for every skill unused will fade at last. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert, that was wonderful. Thank you. You're so talented. Next, we have Bretton Phillips.
Hey, I'll start with business first. I'll be selling t-shirts probably in about 2 or 3 days for $17.76 plus tax, so they'll be under $20. But they're going to have my case name against Trump for a mental health examination. The Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals actually said he has to file a response and then dismiss it. So that's nice. So if I wear the shirt before other people do, the press might take the story. All right, here we go. This one's called Hate, a Poem. This is hell. I am immobilized and unnaturally suffocated from my first experience with natural love. I saw intimacy, and now that scene has grown into what my dead eyes call despair's unending pleas. Someday, I might find all the conjurings I lost over complaining, believing love lost is its meaning for me. Recover my love? A homewrecker I'm not. No, just hate. Red boiling, green frothing subtleties sliding through a blackened heart. God, kill me now. Burn me hatefully, Or is this death destiny request just another fantasy crush that will never come true? This argues backwater in my soundlessly born grave. 25 mold baking rotation sunned into this crusty beef loss plots. Darkened fall, alone survivors, narcissist wishes, reverberating off of walls soaked into Salvador Dali's tears, lacking no mistaking shimmers, isolated lava times, idolatry screens. There's no warmth, nothing cold either, just fact. Tick-tock fact. That being some half-pulsed life brings a half smile where only hate voids my semblance to a reasonable existence. Sorry, I never told you until now, God, but I hate everything created because I may argue I could intellectually own all space in any self-contained franchised story. Lacking love's waves pulsing my sad drowning space without intimacy is nothing more than hate hashing. Like I said, this is hell.
Brenton, that was so powerful. Thank you. Wow. Now we have Angel Venice.
Yeah. Hey everybody. I'm going to read you 2 poems today. First one's called Henry VIII. I know nothing of love, but I do know you. You never hid when dark matter slinks from my mind's recesses, and how you embraced my voice grown with swallowed tears. I couldn't lift from the bed. You crawled in beside me, joined me under the sheets, in awe that the beat of my heart never rested, never skipped, never languished. I'd play the song, eyes flickering on and on, silent, except for the ghost of breath sliding in and out. Play it again. Voice sugared with the familiarity of an instrumental cradle song. Open your eyes. Sharp. Cobra lethal up close. Agonize me. Baptize me. Your sorcery left brimstone in my belly. Incest dust in my lungs. Are you scared of me? You never expected an answer, but you knew. I was terrified of you. Me around you. The you around me, saying, each of Henry VIII's wives thought themselves to be spared of the guillotine, heads rolled neatly into a breadbasket. How morbid. Don't you want breakfast first? I don't want breakfast. You knew I'd accept the half-burnt toast. Domesticity like an unexpected step on a familiar staircase. You loved the morsel of my mind I hid from everyone else. You ate me whole, no leftovers. Is this conversation going to spiral into how hysteria was treated by fingering? Briefly, I'm tilted too far back, strange fingers prodding me to find hallelujah between my thighs, salvation in my secretion. I pause, then say, have you thought about guillotines? You crank down the window, let in the morning dew, fingers floating feather light to brush my wrist. Your silence was a fully relaxed fist. Do you know what the modern guillotine is? My voice is too heavy to hold. You share the weight, shoulders brushing to bear the load. Coerce my wrist from your hand, thoroughly explore my throat. A forearm across the windpipe is the guillotine of the modern broken home. You reach, rested on my pulse. Eat your toast, silkworm. Let Henry's wives rest in their breadbasket graves. This next one is called Waiting. I hear you late at night. Your voice comes as a ghost to me. Love is a figment feeling. Love will never be enough. And honestly, have you thought of giving up? Your pain can only be real if eyes watch that pretty face cry. Suckle on those tears, sweet Clementine. And have I ever told you you're most beautiful when you're sad? You think too much. I could see it in your mirrored gypsy eyes. Heavy thoughts, deeper worry lines, stop. It can't be the worst thing that my face hold a memory, a visual language only I can read, that the changing placement of skin, thought, and love be a reminder of I was not made waiting. I am not blank slate for a hand to scribe, hollow brain with glassy eyes. Has anyone ever said, blink more and talk less, so I shouldn't say how I feel? Instead, waiting for you to fill me with your expectations. Do these look like doll eyes? When you squeeze, should I parrot back what you've written for me? When you tilt me back, should I mimic only who you'd like me to be? Why is it so wrong that I might not, am not, will never be waiting to hear, gosh, you're so smart, but talk is cheap and we've been frugal enough. Quiet now. Put those existential thoughts on the top shelf, right where you'll never reach. Fuck. From now on, I'm the only one allowed to fetishize my emotions. I refuse to be the mannequin you place idle hands on. I broke my back trying to match your lullaby song. Don't tell me, but go ahead. Tell me. Tell me I'm vague. Tell me I'm inept to articulate pain. Tell me. Please just tell me. Tell me I'm incapable of love, that I don't know how to give something up, that I can't be alone, that I need you, that there's no other way. Tell me to wait.
Angel, wow, it was so powerful. Thank you for sharing. That was awesome. Next we have Maggie Lee.
Thank you, Amy. And thank you, Angel. That was so powerful. So I'm reading off my computer today. This is just some stuff that I wrote earlier. It's pretty stream of consciousness. It doesn't really have any title or I don't know if it's one poem or separate. So I'm just gonna start reading it now. What is me without the need to be validated all the time? Damn it. Awareness of the way I grip my cup so that if you see, you will like what you see. If you see, you might want me. Wanted. How deeply do I want to be wanted? And in which spaces? The holy ones? Or the ones created by unconsciousness and flight from favor with God? Touch me there. My prayer. Touch me where I cannot see the need to be redeemed. Save me from looking at my ruin, shame, and sin, and return me to beauty, grace, and light, so I can stare into the mirror and into abyss, unfrightened. Scrolling. For 26 years, fully committed, addicted to existence within the realm of blindness, lies that create the comfort of not seeing the truth because I am not used to it, not my fault after all. I am only the most recent iteration of humanity, and everyone before was a further manifestation of insanity, starting with the star that exploded so our heads could come through the womb. When we were the children, we learned to hate. When we were children, we learned to hate, the ones that created us, because of our discomfort with being alive. We found it aggressive, so we behaved aggressively. Spat and hit back at the hands and the faces that handled us. Sometimes they handled us horribly, without warranting. Our elders, aunts, and uncles touched and took from us some sacredness that we were saving for when we were old enough to live independently of neediness. So buttons pushed and operational hazards installed in our secret parts, the places in us that not even our brains know about. A breast is a shared experience and we hide it, for shame that we are attracted to the same skin that feeds us. Blame the carriers of them for being so human that they can be sucked by two different mouths and love it. I don't understand this world, and that gives me hope I can be happy in it. I am scared to wait, like it is vulnerability, to be in a place, any place, unwavering, an aggressive invitation to be fucked with. Running is the only way to be free. It is painful to be at peace, because it can be stripped from me. I am not in control. Not in control unless I flee.
Brilliant. That was awesome. Thank you. Now we have Drake Moreno.
It's nice to be here. How's the volume? I'll back off just a little bit, although there may be some louder parts. This is a brand new piece. It's called Viewpoint, and I'm Drake Moreno. I'm fascinated by a phenomenon, a toxic fusion of faith, religion, and politics. I confess that in these tumultuous times, I might be described as obsessed. To some folks, I'm just another gall-dearned, smart-ass, hell-bound heretic. To some folks, but I think I'm one of the fortunates, and I call myself spiritual and blessed. Today's world is one of fantastic possibilities and unprecedented problems. I persuade myself that Earth has survived all its troubles since days of old. Lord, I wish I had a magical means of willing away all the woes of this world. This trek along the pathway to paradise on earth, it's daunting to behold. Poverty, racism, sexism, pollution, disease, war. Fearsome lists of such scourges are never hard to find. But in my mind, an elusive solution remains basically simple. We must look beyond our own desires and tend to the needs of mankind. Materials needed for shelter abound: sod, mud, bamboo, wood, and stone. But without food, water, and air, the decimation of our species is assured. Our supply of these is abundant, but quality and safety are in danger. We must fight to keep this trio of nature's treasures truly safe and pure. So how did we, fragile humans, fangless and clawless creatures, become dominant? This belief that our species can forever rule this planet seems to defy the odds. Most say we will, aided by Darwinian evolution, technology, or simple dumb luck. Some base this belief on the grace of God. Others say, by grace of the gods. I find peace and serenity walking these moonlit paths beneath the starlit heavens. I'm amazed, astounded, awestruck, and other words which I will not use today. I gaze through the glass at our stellar neighbors. Here, in our neck of the woods, these infinite woods, my viewpoint is our small blue planet, whence my imagination travels the Milky Way.
Thank you so much, Drake. I'm running out of words. I'm just having such a great time. Now we have Joseph Powell.
How's everybody doing? All right, good to see everybody here. Happy New Year. You have to bear with me. I'm just getting over a cold, so I'm going to try to get through this as best I can. I'm just going to do a couple pieces. One is a new piece I actually wrote last month for an event. in a way of saying farewell to last year and hello to the new year that we're in now. And this first piece is called Yes to Year. Say yes to another year. Yes to new possibilities, new opportunities, new memories. Say goodbye to mistakes made, words said that should not have been said. Say yes to love. Say yes to love. Say yes to love. Say goodbye to what could have been, to what should have been, to those we've lost because their presence was required elsewhere and not in the coming year, except as memories of when you said yes to love. Say yes to moving forward, though it may be difficult and your steps not as quick. Say goodbye to resolutions you were never going to keep and were never meant to in the first place. Say yes to what will be, to what must be. Yes, you must dream dreams. Yes, you must see visions. But you must also live, and you must also love, and you must be present for whatever the future holds, letting the past be what it was. In this new year, say yes to life. Say yes to love. Say yes to being present. Say yes to the new. Say yes to being human, because you're going to make mistakes and you're going to say things that should not have been said. And you're going to lose people whose presence is required elsewhere. Say yes anyway. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Yeah. This next piece is called Face the Truth. I told the man staring back at me this: if you hear nothing else, listen to this. Pay no mind to the naysayers, the ne'er-do-wells and the malcontents, lost in their own capacity to bitch and moan. You are destined for better, my friend. You are a genius, an artist. Don't shake your head at me. You are. They will never understand. They never did. The world is not ready for someone as beautiful as you. They are not ready for the truth. You have to show them. but you have to do it anyway. You have to live it. You have to create it. You just have to be. I see in your eyes greatness, my lovely friend. If you ever again should doubt this, and you probably will, remember, I am here for you. All you need to do is look in my eyes. I am the only mirror you are ever going to need. I told this to the man as he stared back at me. I'm pretty sure he heard me and understood because he smiled as I turned and walked away from the mirror.
Thank you, Joseph. That was awesome. Now we have Jordan Thompson. There you go.
What's going on, people? Got 2 joints for y'all. One is called The Outcast. You gotta excuse me. I'm just as soft-spoken as everybody else. I'm not too much used to yelling.
Just put your mouth a little closer to the mic and nobody needs to turn around.
All right. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me good?
Do you, bro?
All right. I'm the one who most people don't talk or sit with. Misunderstood with this mind, the state of mind that I represent. The one who most people don't worry about negatively and positively they talk about. They never take us serious, looking at us as a joke each and every period. Yeah, they listen, but do they ever comprehend this here knowledge that I'm consistently bringing? The exact picture I'm seeing inside the BS, I continuously see. Inside the BS that I'm continuously seeing in you, you're feeding to the public. This small amount of gap you keep giving. People never see what I see, or move how I move, think how I think, or believe the same thing. This unique brain does more than settle and maintain. I find it messed up the way you mistreat this young man. Because at the end of the day, I don't expect to acknowledge or even hear your intake. I live life, and I always have a piece of knowledge to give. But what do I look like wasting my breath, my energy, my words, and my time to a crowd full of individuals that look at me weird? We don't live by tradition. We create our own. And that's what makes us unique. Like, damn, you would think that with this mindset and full of potential, you would think that people with the most knowledge and the most energy and the most words to give, you would think that they the most looked at. But people overlook us and they focus on the negatives instead of what people don't talk about. That's it. This next one I got is called Writer's Block. Now, the greatest sickness a writer suffers from daily. The more it spreads, the more my passion for creating starts failing. You kept me grounded in times when I was supposed to be motivated, and now because of you, when I feel motivation, I catch a headache. At a numb rate, I feel nothing, and my mind goes blank. I take on this consistent nightmare. I gotta excuse me. My take on this constant nightmare is that it's a waste of time that wasn't supposed to be spreading. It's unfair how I have so much to say but can't spill everything on paper. It's so challenging. I wonder if there is a cure for writer's block. I wonder if the best writers know about such disease. Maybe it's a part of being a poet. Maintaining focus, meanwhile, anxious to spill all the words of emotion, but have no idea on how to deliver. Gives me the shivers.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Very powerful. I'm glad you brought your voice here today. Yes. Jolene Underwood.
Oh gosh, this camera. Sure. I haven't read this out loud yet, so who knows what's gonna happen. Thanks, man. Alright, so this is for my mom's birthday, which is tomorrow. Dear Mom, when I ask you what you want for your birthday, I want to hear you clear your throat, like a queen declaring a law with a scroll that unravels and travels until every prince and peasant learns of all your yearning. When I ask you what you want for your birthday, what I do hear is nothing, honey. And your words, they shrug as if they don't deserve the air they are spoken into. Mom, I want to hear your wanting voice, punctuated by periods and not question marks, because questions are just waiting for someone else's answer. I want to hear your wanting voice loud and clear, not with slurs in your words and purple stains around your lips, because now I think that wanting is something you do from down on the ground, when really it's what keeps us from stumbling in the first place. Mom, for your birthday, I want to get you a pair of shoes, so you don't always have to be stepping into someone else's. I want to get you an open door for when you want to walk away. Because now I think that love is living with the things you hate, because life is too scary to live in alone. What is scary, Mom, is being so busy checking for the monsters under your bed that you pay no mind to who's inside it. Mom, for your birthday, I want to get you a look at the world from outer space. So when you say, I am your world, you can see how much bigger it is than me. And maybe I'll come up there with you, because there is a part of me that thinks that people look like worlds too. Mom, as I'm getting older, they're all saying I'm looking more and more like you.
That was beautiful, Jolene. Awesome. Craig Freeman.
Hello, how's everyone doing? Good, awesome. Good energy. So, I don't really consider myself a poet. I just write. But I'm going to share two pieces with you guys tonight. This first one is called Soul on Fire. Life is short, but it's the longest thing you'll ever do. What will you do between the line of your time before night sets on your eyes? Winds are not ties choke the voice in my mind. Blind thoughts told me what I ought to see, then I smelt the coffee. Pyramid schemes stole my dreams. New screens say what to think. I can't blink without clicking on a fake link. I'm out of sync. I have to disconnect from the internet and introspect the thoughts of my flesh. Find faith in every step I take. Can I find my pace in this zombie race? Some days I can't even recognize my face. Misplaced mask, follow task for the cash. As I ask my burning soul for someone else's high, how many lives will it take to see who am I while I'm alive because I'm stuck between dreams and reality? I suffer from conformity. Everyone tells me how to be and where I need to be before I'm 30. You should be married. Why no family? Mama wanted to play granny. I'm still trying to understand me. I don't want to leap without wings. Pass along those genes to my offspring, then they go out and do the same thing without asking, is this really meant for me? Thank you. All right.
A little closer to the mic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So the second piece is called Stumbled Upon Heaven's Gates. I wrote this actually for my 30th birthday last year. I turned 31 on Monday. Thank you. So it's about my trip to California, Big Sur, California to be exact. Thank you. All right. There are 9 planets in our solar system, 8 of which if you step foot on, you would be aerated with debris, vaporized by the heat, or your blood would turn into shards of ice. However, between the unforgiving and unstable atmosphere, there's a place called heaven. I'm not a religious man, but after seeing the coastline of California, I wanted to believe in something. I could see where God's fingers carved the mountains out of rock and mud, leaving behind the fingerprints of an unsolved mystery. Indigo blue waters that turn a day on earth into a binge-worthy show. My eyes photographed the beauty of Mother Nature. She wasn't shy. She posed and revealed more of herself as I eased around her bosom. She caressed me like a newborn baby. The serenity in her breath played patty cake on my skin, and finally we're connected. She fed me lullabies. I slipped into a trance. The warmth of her waves gave me balance as I stood at the edge of her borders. I could taste the salt on my lips, ready to dive back into the waves of myself. I'm no longer drowning. I'm where I'm supposed to be. The answer I've sought after was finally right in front of me. I found the peace that philosophers, artists, hippies, and the Bible speaks of. Therefore, if we're all waiting to die to experience heaven, what's the point of living? Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. That was brilliant. Awesome. Now we have Eureka Yokoyama.
Hi everyone. I'm Japanese, so if you don't understand my English, I'm sorry. Just ask me later.
We can't hear you.
Closer to the microphone.
If you don't understand my English, just tell me later. Okay, I'm gonna read 2 of them. First one is Forgotten. Another night, different night. Bitter like antidepressant. My drool dripped through from my wide and meaningless mouth. I keep losing hairpins, and the pocket never fills up. It's another cold night. I'm adored and stolen and zapped 9 times. And my body's warped and bent and rattled in the wind. I am forgotten as a can of Coke on a 2 a.m. street. So another one, quilt. Released from the hauling yellow bus, we landed on wet sand and looked at others running into the ocean. Her strong black eye met mine, and they told me this whole stupidity. The heavy Mexican blanket she brought to the cold Oregon beach wrapped our teenage bodies and difficulties.
Thank you, Eureka, and thank you so much for being here. Now we have David N. Harris.
I see that a lot of the people here tonight are younger than me, so the word co-ed is an antiquated term for a female college student. You may not be familiar with that. The student from whose paper I got this phrase probably meant to write the secret code, but it came out the secret co-ed. I should also mention this is fiction. She sits quiet in the back of the room. I've never heard her voice, not even when I call the roll. She is not on my roster or in my grade book. Sometimes she hands in an assignment which gets feedback but no grade. Her work is good. I enjoy reading it. She calls herself on her papers Arpeggia d'Amore, a name not found in the student database. Last semester, she appeared for American Personal Narratives, but offered none of her own. This term, Types of American Novels. I have considered asking my colleagues if they know her story, but no, the mystery is too wonderful to solve. It is a hook for my dreams. All day I study texts, analyze and grade them, a mason interrogating someone else's stone, reading the grain and the strokes of the chisel, learning the creators by the unconscious marks they leave. I can penetrate to their hidden selves. Ms. D'Amore is more careful. She uses protection against my penetrating academic mind. Papers so polished, I can read nothing but the sentences. I could seek to know her, stalk her from class to wherever she goes next. But no, let her mystery remain intact and perfect. I will not unravel this performance, for which I hope I am the only audience. This is our secret, our perfect, intense romance. Villains. Imagine Saddam Hussein in one of his palaces, taking a break from writing his latest romance novel. He did write romance novels. He thinks, this is personally fulfilling, but what good does it do in the long run? Will my people, my Tikritis, remember their second Saladin for my literary achievements? I need a new palace for them to see forever, to embody the glory of their second greatest son. Snidely Whiplash acted only out of love for Nell Fenwick. Kim Jong-un just wants job security. Who looks at the day's to-do list and finds be evil just after pick up dog food? No one. We all make mistakes, and sometimes our ideas of what will do good misfire or contradict the common view or that of history. But history changes its mind. Godfrey of Bouillon was up there with Arthur and Alexander, and you may have just had to look him up. Jesus, Mohammed, and Joseph Smith were not universally admired in their times. Leap to conclusions and you may land a fool in 1,000 years. Is there a future where Millard Fillmore is revered? Maybe not, but none of us knows for certain. There is a present where Jefferson Davis is a hero as great as he is a traitor. Imagine that man in the White House, so vile that his enemies would not say his name, plotting with his cronies to end the Great Depression. The Naiad. Those of you without a classical education, a Naiad is a Greek water nymph. That night, Tom would take all his guests out to the country road and turn off the flashlight so we city people could see real darkness. But now he and Charlie were collecting people at the bus station, and I was alone, sitting on a rock in the brook that ran past the house. The country can be dark, but never silent. Birds, wind, water, even with no people near. And I heard voices. One voice, many? Human voices? Gods? In Greece, every rivulet had its nymph, whispering and muttering that only the sacred few could understand. The next day, Tom heard the call, retired to the kitchen, and came back with a sonnet. But the nymph speaks only Greek to me. Thank you.
Love your images and your craft. Thank you so much. Now we have Cynthia Ring.
How's it going? I'm Cynthia, and I write surreal poetry, and I have books for sale, so if you like what you hear, come see me. This one's called I Prefer My Flag. I prefer my flag be swallowed up in scarlet stripes, symbolic of your first time. When you hang the soiled bed sheet from the hotel balcony, the flag stars sync up perfectly with Andromeda. This one's called Dyke. Mundane seaweed-colored sofa, black laptop case, loopy handwriting and a 5-star notebook come to mind. She turns off her scarlet sports car headlights. Dad's still up. Where were you, he asks. A football game? Prom? Out. With one hand on the steering wheel, the other on the inside of some chick's thigh. Babe, I don't have any lube. Here, use my vanilla lip gloss. Dad hits her. The cops come. What can I do when he turns around, sticks his bound hands through the bars, and the cuffs unlock? What do I say when gauze starts coming off her eye, and I don't have any tape? Judas Iscariot goes to clown college to become a mime. He shakes in his knee-high yellow rain boots, thrust headfirst into a world for supple, two-faced bastards who fall upwards after chasing gravity's top hat tossed past a waterfall mirage. They glue cherries to their noses and tap dance sideways, only to loosen both suspenders and walk on their palms. But tightrope walks with a frilly lace-dressed woman who sticks a stout finger in one ear aren't his jam. A dogma dragonfly sewed his lips closed with invisible thread. Then his eyes widened as frown lines and inflamed acne were covered up with white paint. He will knock on Mr. Guinness's outhouse door once he beats an emaciated world record over the head with an empty stapler. Longest time a mime has kept quiet, 1,000 years. Maybe the clock still counted on its fingers while the poor old chap with cowboy boots was enclosed in a whitewashed casket. How is that possible to beat, to cut its throat with a toothpick? It doesn't matter. Thank you.
Great, surreal and brilliant. Thank you, Cynthia. Let's see if I can get this right. Mira Garbett. Good, yeah.
Hello. I brought two poems to read today, and for the first one, I'm not going to claim full credit because I translated it from Bulgarian, which is my native language. And here it is. All miracles begin this way. All miracles begin this way. In a blue-lit passage of the night, with a moon enormous as embrace, and a flock of stars perching on the rooftop edge. Then all the fears lose their sound, and all the words are void of meaning. And it becomes as easy as can be to be unseen, weightless, sheer. Then you spread your hidden wings, so well concealed from others in the daylight. You give a smile to the dreaming town, to yourself, in simply lifting air. You glide above the sleepy alleys and over silver shining top of trees. You freely sense the life awake inside you. And you know you're a verse from wondrous song. All miracles begin this way and live throughout their brief infinity. And possibly they end that way. And possibly they end that way as well, with an enormous moon unreachably away. Star. All they talk about is how bright I am and how pretty the night sky have become when I showed up. But nobody knows what happens inside me. Only a few dare to admit they see the scorching fire in my heart. The fire that brought me to life and will take me to death. I'm a part of Virgo, they say, and draw imaginary lines that seemingly connect me with the others, but only from the side they look. Whatever they consider to write in their legends about the overwhelming solitude I'm in, the coldness of the dark, dark sky, and nothing to entangle my golden rays. I often wonder why I am. And when the daylight runs away, I see their eyes, their tiny eyes, stared up at me. And even though they see me the way I'm not, I know they need me to bring them hope and to rekindle the fire in their hearts.
Thank you so much, Mira. Appreciate that. Noelle Marie.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay. I have two small ones and one from my little black book. Just hold the page. This is called God with No Face. Bewildered, stillness in the wind. I see no face of God. There is not one. It's a whisper in the wind. I feel a prophet in the dark corners. As I walk faster to make it home, I come to terms with the surrender. I lose myself in being found, my sacred scene, that I share with the God with no face. Angel, not I, but saints we can be. This is about a weird dream I had the other night. I think it's about an idea, not of real birth, but the dream was about a birth and it creeped me out, so I wrote about it. I gave birth to an idea that love could exist. I swam into the dream, feeling the ocean inside. The waves of my past crashed into my cervix. I grabbed the flesh, innocent blood. I breathed in new life, inhaling inspiration. I exhaled a death, almost got washed away in the riptide of Medusa. The mercurial mind swallowed the whale. I lay naked in the golden sand, landlocked in the dark blue. And then this one, someone mentioned kind of having like writer's block and just the process of writing, and this is something I wrote. I lost my pen and I was trying to find something to write a pencil with, and so this is what came out. So here it goes. Sometimes searching for a memory magnifies the mood. Sometimes finding the instrument to decorate the blank oblivion is a lot harder than just picking up a pen. Each word can be rather challenging to press down on the paper, like putting mascara on to start the day. Soiling letters together creates an image, leaves a lasting memory that never leaves me. I'm connected to the whole messy process of trying to dot my I's and cross my T's as if I am taking communion for the first time. Sometimes there's God in the words I scratch away. Sometimes it's easier to start a new page than to continue with the discord of the failed dialogue I try to non-verbalize. But it's awfully wonderful to see how my tongue smears truth on accident again and again. My hands begin to hurt as I'll continue to try, and then my heart heals more each time as the pencil kisses a memory on the diabolical nothing. All of a sudden, clouds turn into a breathtaking woman oozing blood from her mouth with a crooked smile. Maybe someone will see this, see me, but I'm alive, so I'll keep creating clouds of confusion on canvas till I need to sharpen my weapon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love your imagery. Great stuff today. Great. Pete Dunlap.
You don't clap yet. Thank you. So my name is Pete Dunlap, and I was just going to read two. First one's pretty brief. It's called A Letter to Aquafresh. That's pretty much the gist of it. Okay, Dear Aquafresh, I know a great idea a mile away. I've had some good ones myself, but you did it. Let me, the customer, see the different constituent parts of a clean mouth. White for teeth, green for gums, and red for my breath. That is the order, right? This is almost as good as my treadmill with a downhill setting, or flavor squirts to make domestic beer taste fancy, or genital soaps packaged in eggshells, or marketing tanning beds to nerds as atomizers. All patented in case you were scribbling those down. Lately, though, you've been causing me some anxiety. I'm brushing 10 to 15 times a night. Each time I lay back into bed, another thought pops in. Did I get enough green that time? It seemed like it was mostly red, so my gums are good. Or is it my breath? Well, better wash again. Do you provide any spoon or stirring device to alleviate my concerns? If you have trouble with this, I recommend reaching out to the McFlurry folks. Your customer, Mr. Always Right. This one is called Literally Walk in the Park. It will literally be a walk in the park, says my wife, clearly pleased with herself as we head out the door. I'm obliged to at least half laugh because she doesn't approve of any of this, and I'm just lucky she's letting it happen, or something like that. Our baby is only a few weeks old, and we're being cautious about germs. When my wife suggested I go without them, or we get a sitter, I asked if she'd met my mother. That did not go well. I've been married long enough to know when to keep my head down, so now I'm laughing at literally a walk in the park. As we head out, spirits lift somewhat because unlike every other August day in Atlanta, this one isn't hot enough to turn my boxers into a python closing around my scrotum. Ball python. My wife should have to laugh at that. As we near the picnic, spry family members run to meet the baby. The less able-bodied cry foul from the shelter, and within minutes I'm being congratulated by cousins I'd forgotten existed. The shelter is set on a slope. You need to know that because the stroller starts rolling down the slope. Faster and faster. My heart in my mouth, I sprint after it. Too late, I watch helplessly as the wheels slam into the curb and the stroller does a front flip, landing on its side. I'm frantic as I run up to the wreckage. I look in, confirming my suspicion that Uncle Ray is a Class A certified dickwad. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very clever. Now we have Caitlin. I'm not able to read the last name. Caitlin? Welcome. Thank you. You're fine.
I'm just going to read two. The first one is called Gargoyles. Ejected or egressing into the cerulean sky. Stolid, stalwart stone, sturdy and siphoning, certain insidious slips and drifts away from the carefully crafted construction. These permanent protectors protrude, clambering or cresting, tired or resolute in your decision to remain. And what is it like to fulfill your purpose? What is it like to be only one thing? And then this is called December 31st. The broken gutter drips, constant like the tick of a clock. The drip slaps the ground like some self-appointed timekeeper. Or is it a pat on the back, a congratulatory acknowledgement to the earth? You have survived, though we slay you. Resilient and incarnational grounding us. That drip, the body and senses, awakening thought and moving pen. You, great atlas of the mind, drip. Melodic muse, drip. Small fountain that begets my fountain pen to move. Careful cog, drip, moving my cognition to wonder, and obeying Oliver, I listen to you. No great ocean crash, but doing your part. No less wonder-filled. Where have you been, drip? Who have you spoken to before? Could you be the water from Christ's side? Could you be from some Italian sea? Italy, meeting me here on the end of this new year? Will we see each other again someday, drip? Will I taste you and be made whole? Will you heal my limbs? Will you cleanse me? Nothing is too small.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to introduce our feature poet, but I have to find her bio. Sienna Rouse's poetry is published in Matter, Talking River, and Gabby Journals, and featured on WPLN Nashville Public Radio and Nashville Public Television. Sienna's first poetry chapbook, Vanta Black, was released in 2017 by Third Man Books, and she is a co-host of the forthcoming podcast, Reverb. She believes in the power of poetry out loud in public spaces and curates many literary experiences in the city, including the monthly Lyrical Brew reading series at Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble. I'm so sorry. Are you guys excited? Yeah. Yes. Welcome, Sienna.
The poet posing nude. Be not a body. Be not a brain or the marching band in your chest. Be not limbs. Be red canna lily. Be not stretched or stretching. Be not your cold nipples turned to blades, ready to slice. Be ready if someone needs slicing. Be not black only. Be orange and green and brown, which is purple. Be blue. Be line and the downslope of shadow around your torso. But be not torso. Be obtuse angles. Be round at your core. Be crowned at your core. Honor the peacock expanding in your belly. Be not teeth. Be Doric columns in your mouth. Let your shin shine your skin electric. But be not skin, be not tendon, do not attach to yesterday's bones. Be not muscle, be charcoal, be ash, Be able to be buried as the seed of a willow. Be roots reaching. Be index fingers seducing the goldfinch. Leap from the page like it's song, but be not song. Be still. Be drawn. Good afternoon. Thank you, Amy, for allowing me to be here and read some work. And thank you to the fine folks at Flatrock Coffee for allowing poetry to be allowed in this space and for making delicious cappuccinos. And cookies. I'm also eating cookies. And thanks to everyone for sharing your work. I am always grateful to be among poets and hear great work. So I'm glad to hear it today and to get to share a few of mine with you. I not so stealthily put cards around the table, so I will explain what they are right now. If you'll grab one and write or borrow a pen, kind of share whatever you need. I invite you to write something that you identify as. I'm going to get my notes just so I say it correctly. I want you just to write down one piece of your identity. So it can be really direct but general, like the poet, the parent, the preacher. Or it might be related more to a concept, the dreamer, the go-getter, the giver. So just thinking about one way that you identify. Or you might want to go a little bit lengthier and be a little more specific. So it could be the woman who bought her first house, the man going through a divorce, or you may even feel safe enough, if you feel safe enough, to share something more confessional. So it could be the depressed, the recovering alcoholic, the abused, the user. So whatever you want to do, if you'll just identify yourself, okay? And just take a quick minute to write that down. And don't overthink it. Just write down one thing quickly. And if you need to take time and write it down while I read, I won't be offended. So I'll give you another quick second, and then I'll get started on the rest of my poems. All right, so I'm going to read a little bit from a project I've been working on for a couple of years now, and then I'll read some new poems, and then we will participate in a poem together. This one is called Late, and I'll explain the project. I was born July 25th, 1979 in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah? Do we have a Georgia? Nice. Oh my gosh, I love it. Got a birthday twin and a Georgia twin. I love it. The day that I was born, a boy went missing. They found him a few days later. And they found him and another boy a few days later. And they were the first of 2 years of children being killed in Atlanta, Georgia. Black children in particular. And I grew up, my parents would say, like, how frightening it was to have children at that time. And so he went missing that day that I was born, and I've thought about it a lot, started exploring it about 2 years ago, and I've been writing a bunch of poems about them. This one that I will read right now is called Late for the, this one I will read right now for the missing and murdered children of Atlanta, Georgia, and it is called Late. You stare at the shape of breadcrumbs on the table, try to give them a name for how they fell. A rabbit. Those could be bunny ears. A dog. Those could be teeth, could bite a thing. You stare at the rouge smudge on the mouth of your glass. You want to make something out of it. A red crescent moon. Layers of tissue like muscles, something that can flex or burn. But it's only you, the stamp of your lips that says this belongs to me. He wiped it from his brow this morning, the boy. He still wants your kisses but destroys the evidence. You stare at the chair where he isn't sitting, where he usually scrapes away all the testimony that mac and cheese was there and good. Before bite 4, he usually asks for more. Slow down, baby, you say. He doesn't listen. All you know now is hurry up. The night is about to steal the sun, hurry up. He said he'd be just up the road, and you walked and looked and asked, and he said, I wish you would try to get me. It was cocky, but did God think it was request? My God, did it become request? And finally you sit down to eat, but you can't think, not of anything real, so you stare at real things and make them what they're not in hopes that he's not what you think might be, and this is how you wait when your sun is black and late. Thank you. This one is called Companion Plot at Bethel Cemetery, and it is, it's roughly a form poem, so you're going to hear some repetition in it. Companion Plot at Bethel Cemetery. I like to play with form and then break the rules. All right. I already unlived so much life without you now. Finally, your eyes forever dark. I remember breath and what it felt like to hold it. I held you every few nights, my cheek against your back, until finally your eyes went dark. I remember my ear searched for the second-hand tick in your chest, between the roar of your snore. Sometimes I'd turn from you, stare at the slant of blue the moon stretched into our room. The second hand ticked in your chest between your roar, that snore I always wondered about. Your breath, what tried to choke you each night, how it existed much braver than I wanted this particular darkness for you many times, or rather I wondered about your breath. What choked you? What kept you fighting? I wondered about the monotony of the lump of regret like a tumor in your throat. What nodded into apology? I wondered if you tired of sorry or tired of fighting. I wondered about the monotony of you surprising me with things like secret daughters and fists. Never vacation or lilies or bonus checks. I wanted to miss you, to weep in the church with selective memory. But you, surpriser of things like secret daughters and fists, and fists, and fists, and fists, would fix it so that I met this ground first. Your breath roared, punched its way through the night always, waking me always, not letting me ever rest in peace. My beau, his name is Patrick, and he works at Nashville Cares right up the road, which is our HIV service organization. And every year they have a memorial, and invited me to write a poem for that memorial. And so I want to read this in memory of all the people who died of AIDS in the last year. The title comes from a book actually called When Breath Becomes Air. It's a wonderful book on dying. I believe it's important to read books of the dying, and so does the author of that book. And so he, as he was dying, he ended up writing this book, and I stole the title, When Breath Becomes Air. When breath becomes air and you glitter into all that you've always been, spirit, stardust, shine, we remain here and stitch together memories, a recording of your voice, a wrinkled photograph in our pockets, a patchwork of laughter. And this is how we cover and comfort ourselves now, a quilt of who you were when body and bone held breath and breath held tomorrow. And we held each other's hands into the new year, staking claim that this year was ours for the taking. And it was. And it was also the year that took you. Spirit, stardust, shine, glittered you into the air around us. We inhale your glory. We exhale something divine. So my granny was 97 when she died. She was the sweetest thing, and we wrote each other a lot of letters. And then the last letter that we wrote to each other, she said this line, and I let that be the last line of this poem, and let that kind of kick off this poem. It's called Hussy, a poem for my granny. That's what she called me, like maybe that's what my mama gave me, Hussy. Like a nickname that made calling on me less cumbersome on her tongue. Or was it like how Big Daddy was huge and had a little girl, or how Red had freckles on the bridge of his nose that popped right brightly on the smooth khaki skin? Or did she know I let Petros bite my bare nipple, wish that it would milk or bleed, how water rolls over itself when it gets hot, air becomes sweat in the summertime? Would she, if she were alive, call out to God because I've made a home with my lover with nary a diamond on this finger? She called it shacking up, which sounded more like prison, like maybe chains and a key are involved. Would she say, "You old hussy, why are you giving him all the cookies in your jar when he didn't buy the dough?" But her hussy always made me feel loved real good, like a grandma saying baby girl or sweetheart, without demand for perfection. Hussy, she used to say, the skin of her chin dangling soft beneath her smile. Hussy, she'd laugh, tell me to stop asking her questions about 1968 and protests and tributaries from a river of black bodies. Hussy, she'd say with a croak in her voice, aged 97 years to perfection. You old hussy, you better get back here to see me soon. I don't have all the days. I can't do many more. Three more? Is that fine? Okay. I'll go quickly through them. Just so you know, for this one though, has anyone seen The Wiz? Yeah. So it's The Wizard of Oz with black people. If you haven't seen it, and it stars Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, so that's good to know. And another thing that's good to know in this, and one of the songs in it is called Ease on Down the Road. And another thing to know is that G5G is a fraternity that stands for Groove Phi Groove, which was a black fraternity kind of in protest to like Greek fraternities. And my dad was a member. Okay, this is called Ease on Down. I just want to be at ease, she said. Not sigh, not plea, not even declaration, maybe song. Holding high notes and bass, it fell so easy. A feather floating into fire, unaware of singe. When I hear ease and song, I think of Michael and Diana stepping without certainty down that yellow road. Carry nothing, carry nothing. Don't you carry nothing, which is to say, we always carry something. Because. People with this ebony skin need more than wizardry and ruby slippers to find home again. When I hear ease in a song and think of Michael and Diana on that golden road, I think of this woman in her white skin, how earlier she asked me why black people had to take the Wizard of Oz, why they had to change a good thing. And I wanted to ask why she felt such ease asking me this. Why? But instead I said, because there were no black people in the Wizard of Oz at all. And she said, well, Toto was black, and laughed and laughed. It sounded like fierce water. Not all the splendor, but all the ease of Niagara crashing without a care. And she paused for a minute, burned a question into my skin that stank like pork and leather and urine, the way my father describes the time his brother seared G5G fraternity letters onto his shoulder. And the monkeys, she said, don't you think they were black? This one's called Yes, I Say to the Glass of Bourbon. which is what one should always say to the glass of bourbon. Yes, the South begs to dark brown soil, rich brown and even black when wet and dripping. She salivates over her land. Yes, the South says in poems about sweet magnolia and tulip poplar, their brown bodies pushing through brown earth. Yes, it says to brown pigskin on autumn Saturdays, the backs of brown leaves cracking beneath brown leather boots. Yes, to tailgating, browning steak. Yes, to hats off. Yes, to hands on chest. Yes, to history and liberty, and no to the football players, brown knees on turf. Yes, I say to the glass of bourbon, the brown brew, honey fire in my throat. In the beginning is distillate and phloem, and the whiskey is clear light. They char brown oak to black and wait for perfection. Brown it down to dark southern confection. To the brown, to the brown. Cheers, the South says to brown. Cheers, and yes, and yes, and yes. And beneath the yes, there's always the loudest echo. No. One thing I should say about that poem, the title from it actually came from a line of Natasha Trethewey, our former poet laureate, and it's found in her book Native Guard, and that poem is called Southern Pastoral, and so that's what started that poem for me. All right, so we're about to do the group poem, but I forgot one piece of it over there, so let me grab it. Here, I thought I was so organized. All right. So, Nick Cave is an artist, a visual artist. Did you get to see him last year at the Frist? Yes. So he had his art at the Frist Museum. He's amazing. Check him out if you don't know him already. We got to have him in our town in the museum for, about 9 months. But he also, whenever he visits a city now, he invites other artists in the community to spend time in the community and then create. So I was asked to spend time with people around Nashville, just collect a bunch of stories, and then I wrote a poem that we all shared. We shared a bunch of art on the stage together last April. And so this is actually my first time doing this since then, but I thought I would share this poem with you today. There's going to be a part of the poem is called We, and there will be a part, and I'm just going to point to you. I'll make it very clear, like, now it's your turn. And I want you to read out loud whatever's on your card, and we'll just take the time to do it however you want to say it. You can say it loudly, you can say it quiet. Well, I want it to be loudly. So, say it loudly, be a part of it. If you end up on top of each other's voices, that's fine too. But let's all be a part of this poem together. It's called We. And thank you again for having me here. We, the kissers of fresh baby feet, untouched by grit and ground. We, hand holders of husbands as they dip their toes back to earth. We, bodies behind desks, busy fingers tap dancing on computer keyboards. We, lean legs leaping on stage, bodies becoming music, budding to flower, blossoming jazz. We, who weep in bed, wondering if love will ever shake these bones. Shake these bones. Shake these bones. We, players, dreamers, make-believers, heroes of a moldy green sun, children of a dancing neon moon. We, without house, fleeing fathers, escaping the quagmire of rage. We, waving a tiny hand, saying hello, saying, here, meet my refrigerator. Which is to say, though this shelter is temporary, I name things, I call it home. We, rouge-lipped teenage girls, connoisseurs of cool, hammering the air with our hip bones to Cardi B in our ears. We, so young, so sometimes dismissed, but we know this. A small star's greatest moment is our darkest midnight. We know this. You'll never go beyond if you don't first travel inside. We, Firstborn of America, many languages on our tongues. We who reawaken when you dare hold our mouths, our names in your mouth. Say our names. Repeat our interrupted memories. Say our names. Rebirth us with your breath. We, two lovers of different colors, dining by a window. We, the man banging on the window, shouting expletives at the lovers, trying to rattle their bones, but we, the lovers, know these bones don't just crumble for anything. We, who baptize our clothes in the sink of McDonald's, praying clouds of edible hope will surround us as we sleep another night in the parking lot, return to work again the next day. We pretend we're okay. We, our camouflaged neighbors, you see past us on the street as if we are hairless trees in winter, skeletons of a former self. The way we shiver our limbs on cold days, the way you say, leave me alone without gazing in our eyes, the ways we try not to stand out, the ways we deserve to be seen. We, unwilling to crawl out of our same old ways. We, the mourners of glass buildings rising up, erected like tombstones. Here lies affordable housing. She had a good run, but paid the cost of living. We, the delighters in the glimmering new. New faces, new food, new art, new starts. We, the concern for who gets pushed out by our new neighbors whose noses go up like rent. We, the finger snappers recalling Rockin' Robin and long nights of jitterbug, basking in the luminous unknowing of what is to come. We, now 70 and skydiving, still checking boxes off a bucket list. Though these knees, they ache, these wrists, they sting, but nothing can stop these bones. Stop these bones. These bones are going to try everything. We, beloved of green, bedazzled by the sea, benefactor of this earth, that we might keep it sacred for our children, their children, and the children we'll never meet. Unbury the dirt, unchain the air. We, the smart and beautiful. We, the grieved, the yowling. We, the breakers, the bigots, the weak. We, with dazzling diamonds, loose skin, mud-caked boots, the drunk on catfish, the full on whiskey, hot chicken stinging our mouths. We, the survivors, the still standing of fractured families. We who marvel, who wander, who tremble, who pray, who try to do better, be better each day. We, with guns raised in fear. We, with fists raised in resistance. We,
tired enthusiast.
We,
the hermit.
The fixer
The late in life new wife.
we,
The bored and out the gate.
we,
The determined woman.
we,
The unvirgin Mary.
we,
The creative pulling from within like a spool of thread.
we,
The mystic tree hugger.
we,
The woman who was any label that you would want her to be, yet now she's just a little girl who's trying to be honest and say what she wants for dinner.
we,
The not so readily identifiable Latinos.
we,
Cool, calm, smooth, and collected type.
we,
I am a spirit having a human experience.
we,
The advocate and the author.
we, the learners, the fighters, the forgiver, the youth, the leaders, the cheaters, the beaters, the deceivers, the anchors, the bankers, the fakers, the peacemakers. We, the ones who abuse. We, finally yelling me too. We, who are here, we are here together. I am because we are. I said you are because of we. We must cover each other. Become the music that blankets this city. Become the song that shakes our bones, shakes our bones, shakes our bones into splendor.
Yes.
got goosebumps right now. Wow. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, Sienna, thank you so much. That was brilliant. Oh my gosh. Anybody else want to read? All right. What's your name?
Lucky Nicole.
Lucky Nicole.
No,
Let me mix it up.
It's Lucky Nicole.
Thank you.
How is everyone? It's hard to go behind that, but let's see. I kind of stumbled on this. I was coming in to get coffee, but that's okay. I got a poem that I wrote a little while ago. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. How I got to Nashville, it's a long story, but this might help a little bit. They say love should have brought you home at night, but instead you chased something so wrong, destroying what was right. Sometimes it's required to taste the forbidden fruit. Instead of just fracturing a limb, you cut the root. Despite the hurt, I still wanted to believe an illusion, the vision I saw in my dreams. Call me crazy, but I tried to understand your journey. Literally, I was trying to make sense of your self-inflicted misery. Maybe it's because I love you or because I trust you, or is it because I slept with you or because I rushed you? I guess I second-guessed my own identity. Why wasn't I not enough? What did she have over me? Sexually, she stole what I thought was just for me. Mentally, I tried. I'm tired because you devoured our loyalty, spiritually defeated, emotionally slapped and repeated. I could feel my soul retreating. Damn near 20 years connection was now leaving. My memories was haunted me like nightmares. Even my daydreams showed my deepest fears. And so now my spirit resides in my insecurities. My mind is playing double dutch with envy, scared of the outcome. Because of your stupidity, stay close to make sure you didn't lose everything that you set up for me. All of the people that could have hurt me, how could it have just been you? I was dedicated and devoted. Maybe I was all in because it was a lie, but maybe it's because it was sugar-coated. Still deeply in love and feeling hopeless to be such a damn good woman and feeling worthless. No more tears to cry. Heartbroken, soul fractures, eyes dry. Don't want to fight the battle anymore, so I retreat to being your friend, deeply wanting more. I won't judge you. Because through it all, we must just acknowledge the truth. Embarrassed by your actions, stripped of my power by your tactics, trust gone, friendship severely fractured and bruised, battled over. I'm hopeful, but I know I lose. What's gone? What games are we playing? Where are the rules? I sacrificed my happiness just to make sure you made it through. I don't want to speak the truth. You were my soulmate, and now I can't stand you.
More goosebumps, eh? That was awesome. Thank you, Lucky Nicole.
Thank you.
Now, Henry. I'm so sorry.
Jones.
Yes.
Check, check. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Check, check. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The government is open, so those checks are coming. I'm just sitting over there, and we were having mic problems, and I was like, I got this weird humor. But that's my political statement. I just have two short pieces. Siona loved it, as usual. She is phenomenal. This first piece is titled Wounds. Wound that never seemed to heal, the dull child who keeps picking at the scab until it bleeds, again finding this joy. To watch blood slowly flowing from the wound and remember the fall and pain on the playground. And even taste the stream of salty red nectar, and then try to cover what was done with a cry for someone to help me. I'm hurting, I'm hurting, I'm hurting. But I don't know why I'm hurting anymore. The asphalt is all gone. And this last one is titled Strangers for Pretending. Strangers walk by wearing masks layered with makeup, no promises. Make love to me. Don't look into my eyes or try to touch me. Make the skin warm and move the heart. Let me pretend to be alive, real, and the fears seem to flow away from my childhood, lost in stolen innocence. Who understands the shame of the hidden child who hides under the stairs and looks at who walks by as people pass, laugh. All that laughter fell from their lips, dripping greed to cannibalize their flesh. Mouths eat and bite till the pain becomes pleasure. Dry lips become wet with desire, but nothing seems to fill the emptiness. Souls so vacant, but many residents. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Henry. Anybody else want to read? Can I read another one? Okay. There are 3 left. I don't want to read all 3 because I don't want to take your time. But I'll read the titles. All right. We did Innocent Hands. There's The Window, Miss Donna, and Of Grief and Light. So The Window, Miss Donna, or Of Grief and Light. The Window? Okay, you got it. Okay. The window. As a bird insistently calls for a mate, Japanese music is finding the light and darkened shadows. Maybe your new life is a wasp trapped inside, pounding against the window, not understanding how glass works. Maybe you are the bird. Sorry. Maybe you are the birds at my feeder today in winter, or happy eating bugs out of our garden. Maybe you were the sister who survived cancer, not the one who left us so quickly. To mourn at your coffin, holding your hand, sister. To be born one color or another, to be told the history of your people, self-reflection is everything. Our DNA informs us. We are brilliant, many-colored angels. Some percentage of us believing a lie of hatred, not possibilities for each of us despite the color. The wasp has disappeared into the folds of a curtain. His blinders are his ignorance of options, fear, and trust. Me, I can hardly move for sadness. What depression is. Every day I hit myself against windows, blinders of my own. I am phosphorescent. Light gets in, warms me among the bed covers. I am a light in a dark landscape of my own history, going forward with good intentions, not immune to ghosts, inside, outside. I am no longer a ghost, barely feeling, living on the edge of death. I feel that much pain and find joy where I can, working through songs of my soul in turmoil. One day I may be free of my past that haunts me like a war that won't end, trapped in memory. That is the dark landscape. To have a vision of yourself and move toward it, that is hope, overcoming. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tiana. Thank you, everyone. You sure nobody else wants to read?
What about Donna?
Oh, Miss Donna. I'm sorry, I was looking for Donna, right? Oh my gosh. I'm so silly. Okay. All right. Miss Donna. The sweetest neighbor I have. All the sweet neighbors and friends, she's the sweetest. Always telling me she loves me, and I her. Stage 4 cancer has hit her world, our world. We know the end is coming. She's in a lot of pain, can't eat, and her beautiful purple moo-moo I gave her a while back. She shines with love, absolutely. Her spirits are up in love. I bring her cut pink senorita zinnias, fluffy all shades of pink from our garden. Homemade butternut squash she'd like to try. The family, her husband and sister, are beside themselves with grief. She's been waving at me and asking, how are you for years now? Tells me she loves me and I her. one of the first in the neighborhood to take me in as a new neighbor. Never met a stranger. Taught me about love. She is our community as she relates with her wonderful voice, laughter, with all passerby, walking people, people in passing cars who honk to say hello to her. I can't imagine her not being here. I don't cry for myself anymore, some years ago now, but for Miss Donna, the tears are just beginning. Hard. Okay. The next session that we have is February 23rd, and Andrea Pilot is our feature poet, and I hope to see you all there. And we're going to get the video of this up in like the next day or so. And we'd like to have a group picture of all the poets, if you're up for that. Okay, well, thank you all so much. This is wonderful, wonderful experience. Thank you so much.